These are the top 3 best-selling blended Scotch whiskeys, but which ones taste the best? Let's find out. Hey, welcome back, Whiskey Questers, to another episode of Whiskey Quest. You guys are new to the channel. My name's Antonio. In this channel, I like to try whiskeys from all over the world. I like to add a drop of water to each one of them just to see if it changes. You'll never know unless you try it. So, if you're curious about whiskey, you want to learn more about whiskey, just in general, you love whiskey, consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell notification. Stick around for more videos. Let's move on with today's whiskey video of these 3 fine blended Scotch whiskeys in the world. Quick Google search will show you that these are the best top selling whiskeys. According to sales, Johnnie Walker Red is the #1 best selling, followed by Ballentine's Finest, and then finally Grant's over here. But I want to know which one is actually the best tasting, because this is just based on sales and popularity. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with Scotch and are wondering what a blended Scotch whiskey is, all that means that it's the blend a bunch of different whiskeys from different distilleries. You got single malts from different distilleries and also grain whiskeys from different distilleries, all aged for a minimum of at least 3 years old based on the Scotch rules in Scotland. So we'll be tasting these right here according to the ranking that they have based on sales. So Johnnie Walker Red will be the first one, and I'll also be rating these individually, the nose, the taste, and the finish on a scale of 1 to 10, and then we'll add up the totals at the end and see which one comes out on top. All right, let's get tasting, guys. I'm gonna start off again with, like I said, with the Johnnie Walker Red. So if Johnnie Walker Red is the #1 best-selling Scotch whiskey in the world, or blended Scotch, why is it that it gets so much hate? This is an $18 bottle, bottled at 80 proof. On the nose, I get nice, pleasant sea salt. Kind of reminds me of like a Talisker, and I believe this is made using 30 different whiskeys. So Talisker might be one, I'm not sure. But yeah, you get nice briny nose, some peat smoke, not too much, but it's in there. Green apples, some pears, light oak. But overall, it's more of that briny and fruity nose. Getting hints of caramel too. So it's not a boring whiskey on the nose, but let's find out how it tastes. Cheers. Now, if you guys have watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that I love getting those peppery notes in my whiskeys, and Johnnie Walker Red delivers that. So that's a plus for me. Also gives me that peaty flavor. Getting some honey notes coming out, mixed in with that caramel. Maybe some light milk chocolate. You do get a little bit of a alcohol burn going down, but it's not to the extreme of, you know, it's just too much. So it's not too bad. To me, it's not too bad. Now the finish is a little bit on the short side, but it still lingers with a little bit of that peaty caramel kind of flavor going on. Those fruit notes are also in there. Yeah, that brininess also comes through. Pretty salty. I like it. So let's see, for the nose, I think I'm gonna give this one, a good 6 out of 10. Now the palate I'm really enjoying. I'll give this a 5 for sure. I think the nose was a little bit better, and if it didn't have that alcohol flavor going on, I would have given it a better score. So I think 5's a fair score right there. And the finish, like I said, the finish is pretty short. Wish it was a little bit longer. I'm gonna give this a 2 on the finish, only because it's really short. Alright, moving on to Ballentine's Finest here. Also coming at 80 proof, and it's actually a little bit cheaper than the red. This one will cost you around $15 or so on the nose. More floral on this one. Smells perfumey to me, like a woman's perfume. Also get a little bit of brine, but not as much as the Red Label here. I'm getting something that reminds me of like a apple pie crust. Some sugar notes going on, but overall it's a lighter nose. Not much going on compared to the Johnnie Walker Red. Let's see how it tastes. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, a lot softer. This gives you more of a like a creamier kind of mouthfeel than compared to the red. Some milk chocolate. There's a little bit of that brine coming through. Some caramel. That finish is a lot shorter though than the red. But overall, it's a sweeter kind of whiskey. Yeah, more milk chocolate coming out on that second sip with that caramel. Feels creamier. Some pepper notes coming through, but it's not like the Red Label. I think it has a little bit more of an alcohol kind of feel, but overall, like I said, I don't mind that. It tastes pretty good to me, but that finish is a lot shorter. So I'm gonna give the nose on this one, I'm gonna give it a 2, only because it didn't have too much going on like the Red Label. Now as for the taste, like I said, I still think the Red Label has a little bit more going on, so I'm gonna score that I'll give it a 3.5. And as for the finish, a little bit shorter than that, I'm just gonna give it a 1. And on to the last one is gonna be Grant's Family Reserve, also coming at you at 80 proof, and this one will sell for around $18, give or take. Let's see what we get on the nose. A lot fruitier on this one. I'm getting some like raisins mixed in with some like cooked apples. Maybe like an applesauce, if you will. There's also a little bit of smoke, not as much as compared to the Red Label, but yeah, overall it's more of the raisins and like the applesauce going on. Tiny hints of honey coming out, but overall I think it has a lighter nose than the Ballentine's. All right, let's see how it tastes. Cheers. All right, the flavor on this, way better than these two. I get more caramel, more of those fruit notes coming out, the raisin. It's not like a peat smoke. This is more like a char kind of smoke. Those raisins coming out really nice. I'm getting a nice kind of briny, oily kind of taste as well. Not as much as these other two right here. It just has the right amount of saltiness. I'm getting a nice chocolatey kind of taste as well.
It's very nice.
It takes a little bit more of you trying to detect those on the Grants than you do on these other two, but overall I'm not getting the same kind of alcohol burn that I was getting on these two. It's more enjoyable on the palate. It does leave me with a nice buttery kind of mouthfeel. So I'm gonna say that the finish on that one is just slightly better than these two. It just finishes with that chocolate kind of char going on, and it just lingers for a little bit longer. Still on the short side, but not as short as these two right here. So for the nose, I'm gonna give it a 2, but the palate is where it really shined for me, so I'm gonna give the palate a 6. And as for the finish, it was a little bit better than these two, so I'm gonna give that a 3. Alright, time to total up the scores. We'll see which one came out on top. For Johnnie Walker Red Label, I gave the nose a 6. As for the palate, I gave it a 5. And the finish, I gave it a 2, totaling 13 points. Moving on to the Ballentine's Finest, That one I gave the nose a 2. As for the palate, I gave it a 3.5, and the finish I gave it a 1 for a total of 6.5. Oof, I was really hoping that one came out a little bit higher. Oh well. As for grants, I gave that a 2 on the nose. I gave the palate a 6, and then the finish a 3 for a total of 11 points. There you have it, guys. Johnnie Walker Red Label took the win because it does have a little bit more than these two right here. To me, it's a pretty good tasting whiskey. A lot of people bash on it, but keep in mind these are not intended to be sipped neat or on the rocks. It's more for like you to mix it and enjoy it that way. But like I always say, give it a shot and then see if you like it neat. I mean, if you do, then there you go. You're gonna have a whiskey that you can enjoy both neat or mixed. So there you have it, Whiskey Questers. Thanks for joining me on another whiskey review. I hope this shines some light on people that was wondering about these. And if it did, why don't you guys drop me a comment below. Don't forget to share this with your friends. Give me a thumbs up. And if you watched a few of my whiskey reviews and you like what you're seeing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, hopefully by the end of the year, so I can finally open this bottle that my brother brought me from Ireland. It's the Jameson's Distillery Edition bottle, and you could say that's going to be my celebration bottle. I'm planning to having like a live stream and just hanging out with you guys, talking whiskey, having a good time. Just go with the flow. And as my boy over at Legit Whiskey Reviews always says, keep the love legit and keep the whiskey.
Come on, man. It's keep it legit and do it for the love of whiskey. Cheers.
Yeah, exactly. Give them a follow, give them a sub. Cheers, everybody. See you guys next time. Peace.